Right, I thought I'd record this on my crappy little phone because I wanted to make it unlisted. Because I found something quite interesting that's going on with my new build. I've still got the rotors. Basically, are in my build at the moment. Basically the same as these, except for the outside magnets. You know, I don't have the 1, 2, 3, and the 1, 2, 3. I don't have the outer side because I just extended the drums so that I could have the extra magnets on the outside to expand the flux field. Now, at the moment, the drums that are in there are basically these inside ones, which are the 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the inside ones, which are those two there. So, and I've had the smaller drums up to 8,000 RPM. Well, the larger drums, the idea is to expand the flux field so that we have a massive peak of flux, which I actually get with this new design. And the reason for that is I'm doing away with direct coupling. I'm not going to say I'm doing away with it. I'll tell you why. I'll explain that in a second. The problem with when you have direct coupling, now I'm not saying there's anything wrong with my laminations. I've built these test rigs. I want to show you these. I've got my V formation laminations in this stick, basically. And the great thing about this little stick, right, is that I can simply slide it into the assembly where my coils are. So there's my two coils there. So you ignore the drive belt. I just stuck that up there for now. So the rotor basically spins this way, anti-clockwise. So these V have to be inserted in this direction. So the way this works is I just literally slide this along and it couples between the rotor magnets and it comes out this end. I have to 3D print. I was going to 3D print another thing. I made a hole for now because I made changes and I actually printed one of these out before I'd made the changes. Let me just pop that through if I can. It's a bit fiddly. Bear with me. There we go. So this assembly, it simply slides in. You can see down there. And my V couplers, I've only populated 2 of them actually at the moment, go in between my coils and the rotor assembly. Now, every time I do this, I notice that I get more cogging. I get a lot of cogging. Now, this is the problem. Now, I'll explain what I think is the problem. Because I am having iron coupling, any kind of iron coupling, even a ball bearing, for example, which I've tried as well, because I made another one of these, and it's got the little indentations for ball bearings, and I even tried the ball bearing method, and I'll show you how that works. So basically I just put my ball bearings into these, like this. And that I slide this in. And I slide that in and it couples the magnet rotors with the drum with ball bearings. And I can put larger ball bearings in as well because of the amount of root. I have to put the ball bearings in last actually. I'll put this thing in first. It stops anything falling through and hitting the rotors. I put this thing in first and I just basically drop the ball bearings from this end all the way through and they sit in these little pockets. So I can have them ball bearings and I can even have, if I can get it, the larger ball bearings in there as well. Now I've tried all of these things. I've been testing all of these things. I haven't been doing it live, I know, but it's just, I've just been so occupied with this. I just haven't even thought about going live, to be honest with you. But it's very interesting what's going on. I really want to get some progress before I actually do anything live, because I know people's attention span tends to dissipate. Now, I'll tell you what I found out, what I've discovered, and what I actually observed in my original bubbler design. Do you remember the one I did about 5 years ago, where I had the concentrics in the middle? Let me just see, actually. I think I've still got... Yeah, hang on a minute. I've got the other version up here. It's on top of... It's kind of been archived. It's on the shelf right now. So, do you remember this? I'll bring it down. It's got a lot of dust on it. Right. I had one, the one like this. This has got magnets in there. Now, remember this one? I was practicing doing experiments with it. It has magnets in the centre. And the original one had steel coming out the ends. Oh, let me just, hang on a second. Let me go and get it. Right, do you remember this with these? If you were watching my earlier videos, you remember I had these steel things sticking out the end like this with a ball bearing on the end and a ring. Do you remember that? Yeah? Well, if you haven't, you have to go back and watch it. Do you remember I had these sticking out the end? And I was actuating the end coils. I had very poor results actually because the coupling was not very good. Now, what I want to talk about is the fact that any kind of iron coupling between the rotors and the coils causes a reaction, a reactive delay. When I talk about reactive delay, what I'm talking about is we're energizing a piece of iron. Let's just think about this as a minute. Now, this piece of iron, this steel. Now, you energize it with a flux of, say, south field. That iron is the reactive energy stored in it. And the next magnet that comes along is dragged by that. It's either slowed down on its approach based on the amount of inductive power that you're taking through it, and the more power you take, the more that induction takes place, and that creates the drag problem. Now, this is where I found something interesting. I'm finding that by extending the flux field on my drum so that it's actually expanded. Oops, everything's sticking to these magnets now because they're so powerful. I mean, you wouldn't believe how strong these magnets are. Let me just show you something. Put this piece of iron there. I'll show you how strong this thing is. Right, you watch this. Let's move it a bit closer. Let's spin it. Watch that piece of iron. The magnetic field. Oh, look at that. See that? It captures it. Right. When I spin it, it captures it. It's the reaction, the reactive forces. Now let's put it there. Oh, I'm trying to get it so that it's not actually going to pull in yet. Now watch this again. Spin. This is my balancing stand. Now, interestingly, notice that this steel is not moving towards it until it slows down. Look at that. Why am I interested in that? Because what I'm showing you here is the fact that it doesn't pull it in until it's almost stopped, because it's balanced so that the iron is not dragging it down. It's not being attracted until it comes to a virtual stop, right? This is why I want to show you this, because the configuration of my magnets, I have quadrants. I have south quadrants, north quadrants, and on the opposite side north, and this is south, right? And these quadrants are equally balanced, and what we have effectively created with this arrangement, let me see if I can draw it out on a piece of paper. I'm just trying to find a piece of paper. Hang on, this envelope will do. So what I've effectively created is something like this. Oh, don't say I've got the wrong pen. Oh, that's the right one, it'll work. What I've effectively created is a large field Oh, this pen is useless. Let me get another one. What I've created is a large magnetic field like this. Right, it's like a daisy or something. Right? We have this huge flux field coming out from the middle, mainly in the middle, right in the center of the magnet array. And we have and because of this, the magnetic change is happening rapidly, but we have very little lensing between the two at these points, these conjunctions here. We have little lensing at these points. The fields are coming out and they're jutting back. They're basically collapsing a long way, and that distance is increasing my output as well, because we're basically that's like having the magnets coming in and out. We've got like a what do you call it? Like a piston on a car engine. It's basically moving in and out. So we've got that effect going on, and it's only when it comes to a virtual stop that it will actually grab onto something, which is interesting, and that's really useful. That's what I want. Now, the other thing I wanted to talk about is normally when you apply a load, what I've been noticing with this, I've got these concentrics on the back, which are magnets and a ball there. I've got two up there, two up there. I actually added an extra 2 concentrics on the back end of the other concentrics on there. Now, when I put these extra 2 on the back, my current on the input drops by about 20 milliamps, and the output actually goes up on my LED array. So my output was going up, my input was going down, and the RPM was going up, right? So this arrangement of having the concentrics on the back of the coils instead of the front, instead of the Lenz's law, equal opposite reaction, slowing it down, it was speeding it up. So my original design I was talking about, which I did about 5 or 6 years ago, where I had very little drag, that was partially right. Only I had the concentrics on the front end as well, near the rotors, which I shouldn't have done. If I'd only missed them out, it probably would have worked a lot better. I never thought to try that, but I never tried it, but I am now. And I've seen voltages peaking around 50 volts on these coils at about 7,000 RPM, up to 50 volts. But anyway, can I actually show you that while I'm filming? Well, it's difficult, but I will try. I've been down as low. This was consuming around 900 milliamps without these concentrics on. It was above it. It was 1.25 amps actually. When I put the concentrics on, output went way up. I don't know if I can show you that, or I'll try. But it's difficult because I have to screw these in with a blue tack and everything, and I'm holding this damn thing as well. So let me just. I need to put an extra concentric on here as well. So I was just going to get 2 more concentrics to go on here. Actually, I'll just pause this if I can. Hang on. Right. Okay. I'll put an extra 2 concentrics on there now. Now, previously when I was running this, it got down to about 700 milliamps. I'm anticipating it might drop down to 600 milliamps. I'm hoping, anyway. I've got this really weak rubber band on here right now, and it tends to skid a bit. The reason for that is my pulley was giving me some problems, and I've used some ABS plastic to reset the thing, so I've got to let that pulley dry. So I can't put my black belt back on at the moment. I'm using an elastic band instead, so it'll be alright. It skids a bit, but it does tend to have less drag. Now let's just connect this up to the motor. It's skipping a bit. My LED. Oh, one of my concentrics just fell out. Hang on. One of my concentrics just fell out. That's why I had to blue tack them in, because the vibration checks them out. I can't do it with one hand, so I have to pause again. Damn it. I also forgot to take that bar out of here, this thing. the one with the laminations, that's why it's making a racket. I've taken them out now, which I forgot to do. Right, I've stuck blue tack back on there so it holds them. So let's try again. My belt. That rubber band is not very good. Wait until I get power up. Current. Now, watch what happens when I take my concentric out. Well, at the moment, I don't know what's going on right now. This belt is really not. Hang on. This belt is slipping like a bugger. It's not doing its job at the moment. I need to put the other belt back on because I was doing the test with the other belt anyway. But it runs very, very freely, as you can see. Anyway, yeah, I'm having a problem with the belt. It's really floppy. This thing's useless. I'll take this thing off here. I want to put my concentrics back on. All I know is I was getting really good results. But as it happens, whenever you want to film it, you think, oh damn, I did change something, I'll put the other belt on. Damn it. Well, it's skidding, it's slipping like a bugger. Let's put these concentrics back in. Also, by turning them, it actually makes a big difference to the way it works as well. Right, I've stuck. Oh, oops. I think I pushed that too far. Oh, hang on. Oh, it's okay. Right. I'm having trouble filming this right now. I'm just going to wait until I get this damn. Put that way upside down. Hang on a minute. Alright, I'm just trying to get things stabilised a bit. We're at 890 to 900 milliamps, 4,975 RPM. I'm only running it at 7 point. I've only got 2 lithium ion in series, so it's about 7.5 volts. So I'm not putting the full 12 volts in right now. 11.1 volts. I'm not putting that in right now. Now, it's interesting that when I take the concentrics off, my LEDs get dimmer. My RPM, my current input, actually goes up. Now, I waited for it to stabilise so I can show you this. Now, let's try taking one of the concentrics out. I'll do the top one as it's easier. Right. They're not stuck in as much. I'll take these 2 concentrics out. RPM. Well, that's strange. It's doing the opposite now. $860 milliamps. 5,000. That's very strange. Oh, mind you, I did add 2 concentrics. That could be what the problem is. Right, let me just take one of these off. Hang on. Right, I've taken one of them off, and I'm just going to pop these back in. Right, I'll put the other one back in. RPM's going up. Current's about the same. So it seems to work better just with 2 sets of concentrics. When I add extra concentrics, it cancels the benefit out. They have to be balanced, you see. So let me just take these, put these back to singular again. Hang on a minute. Right, I had to put it down because I had to swap them to singular again. I've taken these off, taken 4 of these off, just got 2 singular ones on. Current. Well, it's not actually making a difference at the moment, which is very strange, because earlier on when I was doing this, it speeded up. Now, what the hell is going on? I just don't know. That's when all wires has come off. I don't think it has. Oh, hang on. Has it come off? No, it's still connected. That one's still connected. Right. We are still connected. Just using a singular elastic band at the moment, because this thing was just, it stretched or something. But we're already doing about 5,000 RPM anyway. But well, I don't really need my big belt on right now. It's still very interesting though what goes on. I probably need to balance it more, because if I have an extra set of coils on each side and then the concentric, it all creates a circuit, a magnetic circuit. And if we don't have all 4 populated, then it's not perfectly in balance. But it runs really well, actually. I mean, it runs very well. Let's see my regulator at the back there is getting hot. Now it's cold, so I'm not drawing that much current. It's doing well though. So yes, more testing. I'll probably post this video a little bit later on. I've still got some more tweaking. Oh, this elastic band's starting to act up now. It's drifting about. I'm waiting for that pulley to dry before I can put the proper belt back on, because I had to use some ABS plastic to set the pin. The pin had got a little bit loose, it was bent, so I had to straighten the pin out, push it back into the hole and set it with some ABS plastic. It's a lot easier to work with than super glue. Super glue is too quick and it sets too fast. So. Anyway, it's all interesting stuff that's going on. I want to keep my input current down, which is what I'm trying to do. About 900 milliamps, which is not bad. Not bad considering I'm driving a high RPM motor. And the motor itself is nominal current when it's not doing any work is around 400 milliamps. So we're only drawing twice the amount of current that the motor is rated at as free spinning. So that's how little torque there is on this system. It's very little torque at all. So yeah. That elastic band's really drifting around there. It's kind of funny to watch it, but I'll be getting my proper belt back on later, which is more stable. This thing's not very stable, it drifts around. At some point it'll probably derail itself. Right, anyway, that's it for now, but yeah, I did observe some interesting things earlier where the current dropped down when I put the concentrics on, which it's not doing now, and I don't know why. I don't know what's going on there. Something strange is going on, I don't know, but it's, as I say, it's not doing it now. I don't know why. Anyway, we'll have more fun when I put my bigger rotors on. It should be more efficient. I'm counting on it to be more efficient. So anyway, we'll turn this off for now. Yeah, I am happy with this build. It's really interesting. It's a lot more fun because, as I say, I can just slot my different coupling in to the arrangement through these little slot pieces to try out different things, which is so much easier than having to take every bobbin out and add something onto it. It means I can slide these in and swap them out for something different, which is really cool. Initially, when I first started this up, I'd left my V laminations in the other one, and I forgot to take it out again. It was probably rubbing on something. Anyway, enough for now.